you know, because for her to have acted like this, now he starts to think that this is who she is, and this is the type of behavior that he's going to have to be putting up with. It's very important to be consistent as a woman in a way that when I say consistent, I mean consistent with being kind, being loving. When you act out like that, that kind of like disqualifies you in a lot of men's minds, especially with the type of men who have a lot of pride and a lot of ego. They will not just let that slide. And even if they decide to continue with that relationship, you have kind of lost favor in that man. You have to be respectful to him for him to fully accept you and want you to be that person that he's going to protect and provide for. On the other side, for men who accept behavior like that, it's just a ticking time bomb. Because at this point now, you have shown her that it is acceptable to do that. And more often than not, this type of behavior continues. And this is why a lot of men are kind of like the secondary person in their relationship. They're kind of like second fiddle in a way. They run things in the home. They decide what's going to happen. They have the final word. Everything they want is what actually happens. You always try your best not to anger the woman. Even decisions that pertains to the children, whatever important thing that has to be made, it's almost a way of her bullying you, to get the results that she wants. And it just never really works, to be honest. She loses respect for you. She doesn't feel like you can lead her. Even your children don't have respect for you because you are basically being controlled and screamed at, and you don't know how to take charge of your situation. You don't know how to actually speak up and take control. You don't have to be controlling, but you need to know how to have your stance as a man. And you must be willing to leave when somebody is treating you like this. You shouldn't be desperate. You shouldn't just want everything to go smoothly. There is conflict sometimes in relationships, and it's important for men to know how to deal with this conflict. You don't have to be a yes man, because being a yes man will ultimately lead you down the drain.
And what do they say in the Bible? It's like a wise woman builds her house with her hands and tears it down, my ellipses, with her mouth. It's like a lot of women will open their mouth and talk their way out of the relationship that they could have had with the men who actually wanted to have it with them. And they do this because in the moment they might be frustrated or impatient. So it's emotional regulation and self-soothing. Women also disrespect men in less obvious ways. I mean, obvious ways are verbal abuse, criticism, physical abuse, mocking, especially in front of other people.
Oh my God, mocking. How low can men go? Like the fact that as a man you decide to accept when someone does stuff like that, it can be seriously damaging to your ego, seriously damaging to your self-esteem. They embarrass you in front of others. And that's just the crazy thing about it, is that it's not that you're just getting shamed by this person. It is that you are getting shamed in front of other people who, you know, are probably close to you, people who are supposed to have a high regard and high respect for you. What do you think happens with your relationship with those people when they see your woman behave that way? I feel like men really have to do better in what they accept, especially in the Western world. I don't know why they allow a lot of women who don't have any type of manners to behave like that. And a lot of times there are no consequences to this behavior. That's why these women keep on doing these things. It is very, very bizarre to me. It is something that really needs to change. Men need to know how to stand up for themselves. Men need to know how to speak up, talk back. Funny enough, normally they say, "Oh, women talk back," but it's men that have to talk back now at this point. You know, no form of violence, physical violence, emotional violence, but it's more of like, putting your points across and holding certain boundaries, holding high regard for yourself, and knowing that you are, having the ability to leave when somebody disrespects you. It is huge for a man, and it's just something I feel like a lot of people lack nowadays. With what he's saying, I feel like, yes, there are blatant ways of disrespect, and there are also subtle way of disrespect. One I would say is, when it comes to relationship with other people. Even relationship with other people, when I mean by other people, I mean other men, can be very blatant as well. Obviously, cheating, kissing, having sex with other people, doing different things. But also just subtle ways like flirting with other men, talking to other dudes, just little things like that that is completely being disrespectful to the relationship, but she has that, deniability. She can be like, oh, it was nothing, it's just a guy. A lot of these things happen when a woman does not respect you fully, or maybe is not attracted to you. And it's very easy to, fall into a trap as a man. But let's just see what he has to say about the subtle disrespect.
But a woman can also disrespect a man by demanding explanations, by interrogating him. These are forms of disrespect because they play inappropriately with power differentials. The right to demand an explanation, the right to ask questions, always goes from the high to the low. It never goes the other way around. Just think about the military. If I were your commanding officer and I called you in and I told you about a mission, you wouldn't have the right to ask me a bunch of questions before you decided whether you were going to accept the mission. That would be insubordination, and it wouldn't be tolerated. So there's a way to get the kind of information that you want from a man without interrogating, without shaming, without demanding. You do not have to always agree with a man. That would be impossible because we men do all kinds of boneheaded things all the fucking time. So women do not have to approve of a guy, but they absolutely have to find ways to disapprove, disagree, without disrespecting. And that's absolutely something that can be possible. The general rule of thumb is if you wouldn't say that in that way to your boss, if you were interested in keeping your job, you shouldn't say that to a man.
And I like that concept. It's very easy. Like, why disrespect him? Why talk back at him in such a manner? This really, really disqualifies a lot of women, and they just don't know it. A man will not say, "Oh, I've just disqualified you," but there are things that you will say and there are things that you will do that just makes him go, "Oh my God, I cannot be with you." Like, he just has it. It's like a mental note in his head that, okay, I cannot be with this woman. And why do you feel the need to embarrass him? Why can't you just make your point across? Put your point across. Explain. I never really accept for a man to be controlling and to just, be all macho and say, oh, every decision has to be made by him. Whatever he says is final. Whatever, stuff like that. It is important for there to be dialogue, for people to have discussions back and forth. Explain your own side of things and I'll explain my side of things. Let's come to an agreement. Let's come to a compromise. It's a teamwork. That's how things are going to be done. A lot of times, even if the man is the leader, yes, but he sees that there's something that his woman wants and she really wants it, he can have the discernment to say, okay, you know what? Let's do it the way you want it this time. For the sake of the family, for the benefit of the family, just to compromise and to you know, give her what she wants because she really wants it badly. There are also situations where the woman should allow the man, you know, to execute on what he wants, and the woman should always allow the man to lead. You know, once that foundation is created, I feel like a lot of relationships are going to be very, very smooth.
So that was some great advice for the women. What do men need to provide in order to find the woman they want? It seems the ability to provide a better lifestyle is the number one thing a woman is looking for, right?
Oh, generally, yes. So women treat men the way men treat jobs. And this will help men not take the dating process as personally as they might otherwise. Think of it this way. You might, as a man, have no problems at your current employment. You might feel that you're perfectly happy there. But if one day a recruiter called up and said, "Hey, Orion, I got an offer for you. Would you be interested in coming over to this company? We'll triple your salary. We'll give you unlimited paid time off. We'll give you a promotion. And we'll make sure that you never have to work on any of the projects